First time out of your home, so it's a big
bro.
change. And Mumbai, mein you feel so safe as a woman, which I've never felt in my entire life being a Delhi
You
girl.
feel like a bird, isn't it?
I was roaming around in rickshaws at 1 a.m. and I was like, यार ये तो बहुत ही अच्छी life है. If you're looking at which college to apply to, a lot of things you should question yourself, Suman, because it's a huge investment.
Yeah.
If you look at MBA abroad, Stanford MBA is 200k tuition fee, which is 1.5 crore.
All right, hi everyone, welcome on board. बहुत सारे लोग मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि इंडिया में पढ़ाई करनी चाहिए कि बाहर पढ़ाई करनी चाहिए, और उसमें तो एक ऑप्शन है स्टैनफोर्ड, एक और ऑप्शन है ऑक्सफोर्ड, एक और ऑप्शन है हार्वर्ड एज वेल. सो आई एम नॉट फुली इक्विप्ड टू रिप्रेजेंट माई सेल्फ एंड और रिप्रेजेंट ऑक्सफोर्ड और हार्वर्ड और स्टैनफोर्ड. ये तीनों जगह मैंने थोड़ा बहुत टच किया, मैं उसके बारे में बात करूंगा. बट वी गॉट महक हियर. हाय महक, वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड.
Hi Sumit, thank you so much for having me.
This is so amazing. I'm really humbled. Mahak is a 2-year full-time Stanford MBA from GSB.
Yes.
क्या बात है यार. First of all, आज का टॉपिक ये रहने वाला है 2 साल versus 1 year. Touch base on that because abroad में most of the MBAs are 2 years. But more importantly, उसके पहले क्वेश्चन आता है इंडिया में पढ़ेंगे बाहर पढ़ेंगे.
Correct.
Right? आज मैम का प्रोफाइल जानेंगे. मैम अभी कुछ और ही काम कर रहे हैं भाई. ये इनकी स्टोरी इतनी अमेजिंग है कि पहले इन्होंने अपना स्टार्टअप किया, स्टार्टअप करके फंड रेज किए, फिर उसको क्लोज किया, एंड देन शी इज द डायरेक्टर ऑफ द एंटायर कोर्ट एट मास्टर यूनियन बिजनेस स्कूल. उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. लेट्स गो. मैम प्लीज टेल अस अबाउट योर लाइफ. सो यू डिड योर इंजीनियरिंग, हाउ वाज इट, एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर.
Sure, engineering, NSIT, IIT के लिए बहुत मेहनत की. I put on almost 10 kilo weight भी, but still 11-12 की मेहनत did not succeed. I didn't get any rank in IIT because तब तक सिर्फ 10,000 तक रैंक निकालते थे, something like that. Didn't get through. But NSIT seemed like a great option still. I still see the delta of an IITian tag versus an NSIT tag, honestly, because when I'd gone for my internship or full-time work, Nomura, I had started my career. So then, you know, if a room had an IITian enter, there's a baseline. कि अरे बहुत smart होगा. NSIT में भी there is that baseline, but not as much as IIT. So I always had that resentment कि यार IIT नहीं हुआ.
ये बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है यार. एक्चुअली वो रूम वाली फीलिंग जो तुमने बताई ना, थोड़ा हो भी ना, वो अपने आप ही फर्स्ट ईयर में लगता रहता है यार आईआईटी नहीं हुआ, आईआईटी नहीं हुआ. I had the same feeling when I went to Suratkal. तो आधे तो सब Suratkal used to be like number 1 in IIT हमारे टाइम पे. अभी
right.
वारंगल आ गया, तो यही फीलिंग सेम. और कर्नाटका सीईटी रैंक 1 वहाँ पढ़ा हुआ है. तमिलनाडु मेरा रूममेट है. ओडिशा रैंक 2 मेरा सेकंड ईयर में रूममेट था. नेवरदलेस, और सब लोग पहला साल यही सोचते रहते हैं.
Correct.
तो दिमाग में हिट तो करता है ना.
तो हिट करता है because you've really worked hard for 2 years to crack that dream, and ultimately on that one single day, based on that one single exam, उस दिन हो सकता है आपकी तबीयत खराब हो, उस दिन हो सकता है आपका दिन ना हो, but आपकी destiny gets sealed in some way on that day.
True.
But NSIT होने के बाद भी सब ठीक ही हो गया. तो
नहीं,
I
of
feel
course,
life
of
is
course,
still
no.
I think it's not about what has happened till that date, but how you make what you get and then continue building on top of it.
True.
And one more interesting story there is, NSIT में I was among the first 5-10 percentile to crack a summer internship.
Okay.
क्योंकि summer internships बहुत limited आती थी engineering में.
Yeah.
So I got a summer internship in Texas Instrument.
Oh,
it was one of the great companies to work at.
companies to work at, yeah.
तो वहाँ पे there was a sales profile, technical sales engineer type. I think sales ही थी, बस थोड़ा fancy लगने के लिए they named it technical sales engineer. And at that time, I'd really worked hard, Sumit, to try to get a PPO there.
Okay.
Because I would feel कि हाँ यार अब तो set है, PPO लग गया है. And I was the only intern who was actually able to get a sale in those 2 months. So I was told on day 1 that अगर आप sale ले आते हो 2 महीने के period में, then तो you're definitely getting a PPO.
Okay.
And the director of the entire North region also said कि आपको पक्का PPO मिल जाएगा. Despite that, उसे PPOs ही नहीं देने, so I didn't get a PPO.
Oh shit.
And I had not prepared at all for a full-time placement. मैंने ये तक भी नहीं देखा था कौन सी companies NSIT आती हैं.
Oh god.
So I was so focused on just those 2 months of summer internship. So my learning from that experience, one was that you should always have backups.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
You can't put all of your eggs in one basket because that basket is not in your hand. It might just fall flat on its face.
True.
And then I was among the last 10-15% of students who got placed because I was not able to crack even a single written test. Quants वगैरह था, people were preparing for CAT. I had not prepared for CAT. मेरे तो marks नहीं आ रहे थे उसमें. And I was like, I'm a 100 on 100 in 10th class in maths. So मेरी maths अच्छी है, but you need to brush those skills up for a quant test. It has
At
to be
least
done.
those 2 months of the last minute.
Exactly. So I'd not prepared. I was not able to crack those written tests. So people around me all start mocking that, इसका Texas Instrument में हो भी कैसे गया and ये वो. But at that time, just keeping your head strong and continuing to work. Thankfully, Nomura came. There was no written test. I was like, written test नहीं है तो ये crack interview में crack कर लूँगी. And rest is history.
And you got Nomura?
Yes, I did.
Oh, great. Great. From campus Nomura.
Yes.
So NSIT happened 4 years there. Nomura, how much time?
I was there only for 1.5 years.
Okay.
Nomura, I started as an analyst. Was in the back office, then moved to the front office. Was seconded there for 2-3 months.
Which area was this? Bombay?
This was Powai for the back office.
Arre,
yes.
I stay next to Nomura.
Acha.
From a window.
Hiranandani Park.
Yeah, Kingston building. If you
okay,
go up.
Yes, of course I know.
Nomura is in Kensington.
Yes.
Yeah, my G office is next to Nomura office.
Correct.
Oh, great. I wake up in the morning looking at that Nomura red sign in Powai.
Right.
Superb, great. 1.5 years. But by the time you started giving GMAT?
No, actually I'd started preparing for GMAT during my end of Nomura time. But till then I was still not sure कि पढ़ाई क्यों करनी और. I was actually in that mindset that invested enough time and money on education. Now I'll just learn by doing and हो गई पढ़ाई जितनी होनी थी.
Wow.
So after that I actually joined my family business. My dad manufactures artificial leather.
Okay.
Hardcore blue collar workers, manufacturing setup.
Okay.
People don't want to listen to a women. Very, very different setup.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, suddenly, from being an analyst at Nomura, who is just told कि भाई ये PPT बना के दे दो, ये Excel sheet में.
Excel sheet भर दे, number भर दो.
So everybody is just telling you and you're just logging your way into the system, which is fine. But then when I moved to my dad's business, suddenly I felt incapable of making business decisions because suddenly your decisions going to decide कि अगले महीने salary सबकी जा पाएंगी कि नहीं.
True.
You are responsible to pay those salaries, to pay the bills, irrespective of आपकी sales निकली है कि नहीं.
True.
So then that really hit me hard कि यार ये ऐसे तो नहीं चलेगा.
Wow.
I need to upskill myself in some way or the other to make sure that I am learning not just from my dad or from my brother, but from people who've done this more than them.
Excellent. Because you are now responsible.
Exactly.
And तुम्हें उस position में रख दिया और तुम्हें लगता है यार मुझे तो आता नहीं है.
Exactly.
तो अब मुझे पढ़ना पड़ेगा bro.
Well, you need to have some decision-making frameworks because otherwise, आप उस वक्त भी मेहनत कर रहे हो, आप हाथ पैर मार रहे हो, but you are every time questioning that ये सही तरीका है कि नहीं करने का. So then you're not moving on a path with a lot of surety.
Yeah,
you're looking back.
Zigzag. कुछ तो कर रहे हैं.
Correct.
पर कर रहे हैं. That's a good one यार. How many years was that?
That was again another 1.5 year, but मुझे 6-8 महीने में समझ आ गया था कि I need to upskill myself. So I started seriously giving the GMAT attempt and all.
Okay.
And started working on my applications. And I was sure कि मुझे MBA करनी है for upskilling myself. So that's why I was very sure that I'm not doing it for a job. I'm not doing it for other reasons. Was very sure that I want to do it from these 4-5 colleges. Applied to just 4 colleges in the first go.
कौन से which all you applied?
Harvard, it was a childhood dream.
Yeah.
Stanford, again a childhood dream. Columbia Business School because they had a very interesting business families के लिए they had a program within their 2-year
family
MBA.
managed thing, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people choose that who come from a family
correct.
background. Okay.
Correct. And the last was Chicago booth because I came from finance background. Chicago booth is known for its finance background. Yeah. So I felt यहाँ पे 4 जगहों पे the hit rate might be slightly higher also.
Raghuram Rajan is teaching in Chicago booth right
जी.
now. Great.
Correct.
I was doing a podcast with Raj Shamani. When I was entering Raj Shamani, Raghuram Rajan was coming out.
I can imagine.
We had a very quick chat.
Yeah.
It's great यार. तो 4 admit rate क्या था?
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4. Great. And your 10th, 12th, everything was sorted?
I think I was always someone who's worked hard, so 10, 12 marks were good. But I'll give you some interesting facts. I was only the second person ever from NSIT undergrad to make it to Stanford Graduate School of Business.
Like ever?
Ever in the history of NSIT.
Okay.
A lot of people who go to Stanford for MS, but for MBA.
For MBA.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought there would be more.
No, there weren't. So MBA में, when I was applying, I spoke to a lot of consultants कि यार these are the schools I want to target. Everybody always mocked at my face and be like, भाई तुम्हारी औकात से बहुत बाहर है ये school.
Oh God.
So genuinely, it was literally that in nicer words, they would just say that it's really not what you should be putting all your eggs in.
So जो लोग 12th के बच्चे वीडियो सुन रहे हो, तो भाई NIT IIT ब्रांड मैटर करता है. मुझे लगता था नहीं करता है, but so एक हमारे ज़माने में बात करते थे, तो फॉर्म्स ना अलग कर लेते हैं. NIT IIT चेक करते हैं. मेरा दोस्त ने मुझे एक्सप्लेन किया था. NIT IIT इधर, नॉन NIT, थापर कॉलेज, पैक कॉलेज, मुझे ग्रेट स्कूल्स.
Sure.
वो अलग. VGT है ये बॉम्बे का. तो वो अलग कर देते हैं. But what you saying is like, yeah, that happens. You would
I
know
would
better.
think so. I would think so. I mean, again, see, ultimately, when you're hiring someone or even when you're investing, and that's where you'll see that 98, 99% of all funding ends up going to IITians. Why? Because you are looking for some validation. There's so much area of uncertainty. You're trying to find what is giving me that certainty.
Yeah, पहले हुआ
And
यार
हाँ,
70
so he's
75 लोग
done,
मिलियनेयर
हाँ,
बन
exactly,
चुके हैं, चलो भरोसा
exactly.
इन पे कर
So you end up choosing and betting on the horses that you've already seen succeeding in the past.
And one more thing, when I have a respect for these guys, rather than Thapar, with due respect, they are great colleges.
Sure.
But they're not alone. वो घोड़े के 4 घोड़े सीनियर भी रह चुके हैं और 3-4 जूनियर भी रह चुके हैं,
Correct.
जिनको मिला भी होगा in those 4 years of journey
Yes,
as well,
yes,
right?
yes.
And कुछ लोग कट थ्रोट होते हैं, but and he has got a gang of 10 good people who's going to be helping him as well. और उसमें 10 लोग normally in these schools, in all schools, आपके भी friends would have been like CXOs or directors right now, and they help each other. तो ठीक है भाई, कट टू मैं समझ गया, NICT हो गया, IIT नहीं हुआ, नमूरा कर लिया, बॉम्बे गए, पवई चिल किया, पक्की बात है, बढ़िया एंजॉय, बढ़िया है ना जगह.
First time out of your home, so it was a
Oh,
big
bro.
change. And Mumbai, mein you feel so safe as a woman, which I've never felt in my entire life being a Delhi
You
girl.
feel like a bird, isn't it?
हाँ, I was roaming around in rickshaws at 1 a.m. and I was like, यार ये तो बहुत ही अच्छी life है.
ये कोई हमें कोई फोन क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? कहाँ हो बेटा?
More than phone, it's like nobody's staring at you.
Nobody's staring at you.
Making you feel uncomfortable that you're not supposed to be here at this
Right.
hour of the day.
Right.
Things are moving in a much better direction in Gurgaon and Delhi also. But I
Yeah.
think Mumbai, suddenly at that age, you feel that it's
You feel it's
incredibly
different.
safe.
And
Yeah,
if you're
it's very different.
Hiranandani, you're walking
It's
that
beautiful.
high street, it's
Yeah,
beautiful,
it's
isn't it?
beautiful.
Great यार, great. चलो वो भी हो गया, बॉम्बे भी घूम
Yes.
लिया, घर आ गए, नौकरी छोड़ दी नमूरा की, डैड के साथ काम किया.
Yes.
It was 1 year, 1.5 years?
1.5 years.
1.5 years, great. And अप्लाई कर दिया 4 जगह पे, 2
Yes.
जगह पे एडमिट आ गया.
Correct.
आगे बताइए, यहाँ से जर्नी में मजा आएगा. What next? स्टैनफोर्ड कैसे हुआ एंड डिसाइड कैसे किया स्टैनफोर्ड जाना है? दूसरा ऑप्शन क्या था?
Columbia Business School.
Okay, that's a good option.
Correct. So I think when I was thinking about my journey of where to go next, a few things were very clear that I'm not doing it for like a post MBA job, but rather for experiences. Coming from a family business sort of background, I felt that I want to at some point be starting up or doing something very entrepreneurial. So that's something that was always in my mind. So then I was also optimizing for that when I was looking at college. When you're looking at, and a lot of things I didn't know then, right? If you're looking at which college to apply to, a lot of things you should question yourself, Suman, because it's a huge investment.
Yeah.
If you look at MBA abroad, Stanford MBA is 200K tuition fee, which is 1.5 crore, right? And then you have your living expenses, you have your travel expenses, everything मिला के easily.
1.5 करोड़ थे क्या, मतलब ये डिसीजन कैसे लिया आपने?
I thankfully got a scholarship, and for colleges like Stanford, Harvard, you have these no asset loans available very easily. So they don't take any collaterals, and so I sponsored my own education, higher education at least.
ये इंडिया में लोग मुझे 10 लाख 15 लाख की फीस देनी होती है इनको, IIMS की 20-25, इसमें मेरे को जीना हराम का, कैसे पे करेंगे, तुम्हारे लिए बोलना बड़ा इजी है.
Right.
But you took a 1.5 crore loan with some scholarships, of course.
Right.
फिर भी 80 लाख 1 करोड़ तो लोन होगा.
Hi, it was a huge loan. I'm still paying that loan.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah, and I think I'll be paying it for next 5-7 years. It's not a loan that'll like go off easily.
Oh.
And that's why I was so careful that, and why I chose such a small, narrow list of colleges, because I was like, I will not go to college where my ROI is not going to come out. Today, with all due respect to a lot of other colleges, but I knew that because my brother had been in US for 6 years.
Okay.
He was like, this is not like your IIMs and all where there's day 0, day 1, where, companies are coming and hiring people. That's not how US works, at least. You will actually just be doing cold networking, you're emailing people, you're calling them for coffee chats, you're hosting them on the campus. And उसमें से शायद कोई तुम्हें ले ले. Even with the Stanford tag, it's not as easy to get a job because you are still
But
a
there are
foreigner.
career fairs and stuff, right? But it's still like...
Career fairs is where people just chit chat. Nobody's hiring there.
Achha, oh.
Again, they will just, be present on the campus and give you their card, take your card if you have any, and then you still have to go through that, okay, let's now connect offline outside of the fair. Fair में एक भी job offer नहीं आ रहा है.
Oh, okay.
So the fair is like, these inbound leads that the career office might have that, we're looking for high quality talent.
Nice.
So then that was one thought that, it's not like the cost is very high, of course. And I knew and I'd seen people around me who had done MBA from not as tier 1 campus. And I felt this salary was just not justifying the amount of money that you've spent outside, right? The other thing that I was optimizing for is that I felt NSIT had a very nerdy crowd, and I'm of course a nerd myself, so I understand that. But I felt IIMs वगैरह में जाके मुझे क्या different मिलेगा? I'll end up being with very similar set of people.
Yeah.
So what more am I learning? Because my peer group is ultimately going to be very similar set of people. So that was another thought process. Another thing people should really, really think about very deeply when they're thinking India mein versus abroad, where do you see yourself settling in? I was always very sure that I want to come back to India. My parents are here, my family is here. I felt that I understand this market better. So at any point, if I want to start up, I'm more likely to start up here.
Got it.
And I didn't want that green card ki talwar on my head. It's just...
So ये sorted था, मैं जाऊंगी पढ़ूंगी कर करा के मेरे को इंडिया आना ही है.
That was my thought process.
Okay.
But think of it this way now. If a student is very sure कि आपको इंडिया ही आना है, and this is something that I thought about later. Today, 70-80% of my alumni network is in US because 70% of the class ends up staying in Silicon Valley after MBA. So then you have almost instantly lost a lot of your alumni network.
True.
Right? So that's another thing, and I think an alumni network matters a lot. Today, the good thing is because the Stanford culture is such that even if I email someone from my class or otherwise, people's response rate would be 50% at least on a cold email also.
Got it. India was abroad अपन detail में करेंगे, but before that, let's talk about good things यार. तो Stanford में जिंदगी बढ़िया थी, मतलब पहुँचे बढ़िया लगा, और nearly 30% Indians होंगे class में approximately.
No, the classroom had 15, 17 Indian passport holders out of a 44, 23 or something ka class, so less than 10%.
Oh, is it?
Because there are a lot of Indians who are US American passport holders, so
ABCs.
they're American. So there are a lot of ABCs, but and the number of Indians they intake can change significantly across class. So I think my class had 17, 20 Indians,
Oh, that's
not more than that, so less than 5%.
Oxford had my class nearly 38% Indian kids.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's the reason I dropped. वैसे.
Huh.
It was like.
So what was your experience? You went to Oxford for
touchdown for a week, and touchdown and I came back. Actually,
you realized not
admissions
making
party
sense?
में हो गया था. No, it was the first fun week of having fun, meeting together, etc. It was like same old kids, यार वही NSIT, वही IIT, वही NIT, and मतलब really stupid. I mean, apart from those ambience and those beautiful, the halls and Madam Curie would used to study here, and 1200 सन से campus चल रहा है. चप्पल पहन के लोग क्लास जा रहे हैं. And वो मैं कर चुका हूँ already यार. मैं 4 साल सूरतकल में कर चुका हूँ.
Correct.
And some of the kids are again Surutkal, Warangal, Trichy, so we gel around, talk about that. वो सही बहुत सही vibe था. But that we do in Powai also. You go to Starbucks in Powai, you do the same shit.
Correct.
Nevertheless, that was the reason I dropped out. And
Interesting.
Yeah. So coming back, so Stanford पहुंचे 2 साल. But worth it, na?
100%. I will do it over I'll not even think about it.
Worth 1.5 CR.
100%, yeah. It's a brand that's going to stay on your resume for the rest of your life, Sumit. And I saw the kind of delta I had when I was raising funds for my own startup. I got into every room possible, even if I knew the person or did not know the person. Just having that brand on your resume is a foot into the door of any door. I'm being very, very honest.
True.
So
now also when you say I'm a Stanford alumni, people are like, oh my God.
Again, I think you get filtered out of that, crown that you might be carrying that, oh, I'm a Stanford MBA. But for a lot of people, I'll give an example. I was actually going for a society. We had a sports day on 26th. So I was carrying my Stanford bag because I couldn't find anything else for running and all. And it had Stanford written. And someone just tapped, oh, you're from Stanford. So, the fact how many people would do that for any other college as easily.
Right. That happens for IIMs and even my school,
Correct, I'm sure.
at the airport. But yeah, Stanford is Stanford. Come on, yeah. Top 3 in the world consistently,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Superb, great. So you land in Stanford. How do this 2 years look like? If you can place it in a nutshell. जून में आप गए, अपना सारा सामान उठाया, इनमें पढ़ाई करी, 2 साल experience है. Average age of the class would be 25, 26.
The average work experience before MBA was usually 3.5, 4 years.
3.5, 4 years. You had around 4 years as well.
I had 2.5, 3 almost. So I was among the younger side of my classroom for sure.
Nice. And all kids are like गिफ्ट पढ़ाई वाले के?
No, that's actually a very interesting difference that you see, Sumit, because in India there will be a very clear distinction between the geeks and the backbenchers.
Yeah.
Now, my mind was blown when I went there and I saw that the person who is partying till 1 a.m. and dancing and drinking and, he's like wasted clearly is also the sharpest kid in the 8 a.m. class.
Oh.
I have no idea how that happens, and that's how they've been born and brought up, that, have a strong work-life balance. And the other cultural shock that I had was during some of these birthday parties and all that, we would host. Now this person, imagine you're my best friend, okay? And again, if you are hosting a birthday party for me, you would almost always be the last person.
Of course, I'm
ending
going to
the
clean the dishes
exactly,
and go back home.
Exactly. And now there, even if you're hosting, but if your priority is that I need to do a reading of the next day class, will you ever be able to walk out of that party saying that I need to finish my reading for the next day class?
In India, in Bombay, then definitely no.
Exactly.
Definitely no.
So I feel there was a lot of maturity. I think we all celebrated the fact that we're nerds and it's okay if we need to step out, finish our assignments.
Oh, nice.
And at the same time, respect what a person chooses to do. I loved that idea because, I started drinking right before MBA because I was just so worried that will I fit in or not. And I went and I felt it's so easy to just say that, I'm drinking a juice. Nobody cares. Like, nobody honestly cares. But when I see students here, it's like, piye kaise nahi, but you drank the other day. Today's my party. Why will you not drink? Bhai, nahi manna hai. Nahi peena.
Bhai ke liye ek
हाँ,
aur
भाई,
ke liye.
like, what is this, yaar? It's like everybody is taking everybody down. हाँ.
तो ऐसा करेगी अभी.
Exactly.
I know.
So this entire peer pressure of doing something wrong, नहीं है यार, दारू पीना ठीक है, पियो for your liking if you want to. I'm not judging anybody for that, but don't force it.
True that.
You're creating a lot of social pressure. Then the other thing that I felt was Stanford specifically really wants you to reflect that why should people follow you? आप में ऐसा क्या खास है that you'll be a leader? They're not saying कि आप leader हो. तो कह रहे हैं what is in you that people should follow you? You should be worth it. You should reflect on your leadership style. And you meet people like Phil Knight, who's the founder and CEO, not current CEO, the former CEO of Nike. And the entire Knight Management Center, which is the MBA building, is donated by him. So one random day, he's sitting and sipping coffee in front of you.
What?
And you have Jennifer Lopez on campus one day taking one of the classes.
Wow.
So, and everybody across the business school, Sumit, is so humble that you feel आपने तो कुछ ही नहीं किया है for you to have any amount of, arrogance in you.
Yeah,
you really feel that the glass ceiling has been pushed so high up that
सभी स्टड हैं यार यहाँ पे.
सभी स्टड हैं.
सभी. Wow.
So I think it makes you
but
feel
were they
that
good people as well? Are they nice?
I genuinely felt that people are nice. I genuinely felt that people are humble. That culture, and I think Stanford does a very, very good job of pushing that culture through the professors, through the visitors who are coming, that consistently the people who will come, and in fact I've seen this, that there are students who have excellent profile have been rejected in Stanford interviews only because of that cultural element.
Values in the culture.
Yes, because we really deeply care about it.
Because when I look back now, so before SPJain Bombay, so I was cutthroat. Typical NIT, paper presentation हो रहा है, अकेले कर लेंगे, एक दोस्त है, तू और मैं करेंगे, सबको नहीं बताएंगे. So you know how we were, right? And then SPJain Bombay changed me.
Sure.
And then a set of friends in G. I'm lucky that both of these organizations, SPJain and G, have got very strong value system.
I'm sure.
And I was a transformed guy. So
Exactly.
like pushing friend before you. अरे तू करना यार, मैं बैठा हूँ यार.
Exactly.
You should have this experience, which was not there.
Correct.
And I got to know that there are two kind of people. One is like intelligent plus chalak, and intelligent plus good.
Correct.
And somehow in this institution, the people like you as well, and you're a nice person. I know that. And people are listening also, they'll come to know. तो वो जब लोग आपस में मिलते हैं ना, अच्छे लोग और intelligent लोग, तो बड़ा ही मजा आता है.
And I think the learning environment, because if you come in with a lot of arrogance, Sumit, you will not be a learner.
Yeah.
You are actually coming in कि भाई मुझे तो सब पता है. Then your learning experience within the class also, because then nobody is hearing to listen, you're hearing to reply. That is a very interesting concept, right? आज आप मुझे कुछ बोल रहे हो, मैं सिर्फ ये देख रही हूँ कि what do I have to respond next, versus am I really actively listening to Sumit? That what is it that he has said, and am I actively reflecting on क्या सही हो सकता है वो क्या बोल रहा है? So then a lot of focus was on how do you realize your biases. A lot of role plays used to happen, and they would constantly question how do you become a better listener? Because as a leader, we've been taught in India कि अच्छा बोलो. वहाँ पे it is constantly taught that अच्छा सुनो. ढंग से सुनो.
अच्छा.
Listen with a lot of intent.
अच्छा, then like
As in
nicely
like,
talk or.
and like listen carefully. Don't jump to a conclusion without having listened.
Oh wow.
So then you are ensuring
Respond, don't reply.
Exactly.
तो कल मैं एक लड़के से क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था कल YouTube लाइव आई एम कोई कोड का इंटरव्यू.
Sure.
तो डिस्कसिंग अबाउट के क्या क्या हैबिट्स से तुम्हें ट्रांसफॉर्म किया है. अब वो तेरी हैबिट्स क्या क्या और क्या क्या हैबिट्स. तो वो शुरू हो गया हैबिट्स वर्सेस हॉबीज. सर हैबिट्स आर द वन व्हिच यू डू इट फॉर फन एंड यू डू इट कंसिस्टेंटली ओवर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम एंड वर्सेस हॉबीज. मैंने बोला मेरे क्वेश्चन तो सुन ले यार. Now he is prepared to answer that question. Habits versus hobbies. किसी टीचर ने दिखाया होगा उसको.
Right.
या कोई वीडियो सुन के आया होगा वो. But nevertheless, it's perfectly said. And same value system के अंदर जब लोग 2 साल के लिए नरिश किए जाते हैं, you spend time with that. It rubs on you as well.
I do think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And cutthroat लोग भी थे.
See, I think everybody is a high achiever. I would think everybody is a high achiever. You can be in an environment where people are pulling you down when you're rising up, versus people are looking at you as an inspiration and trying to rise up with you as well. So there's this constant culture of, mentorship, peer-to-peer learning, where you can go to any classmate, be like, dude, you do this really well. Can you tell me how can I do this better? So I had so many coffee interactions where I just learned about so many different industries simply by hearing my classmates' experience, because I felt कि यार उसका इतना deep experience है. 2 hours of conversation with that person made me feel that I actually have really gotten some sense on how this industry will function, and that's something you have for lifetime. You can just pick a phone, call someone up and be like, "Hey, dude, I'm facing this challenge. How would you have done this?" Because you are like someone who's done this before.
Great, yaar. But okay, tough question. Yes, 2.5 crore MBA versus Indians. To 25 lakh MBA, let's say.
Sure.
Though you haven't done from India, but now you're running the school at Master Union, where
Yes.
you are building all these, being a director of the school. By the way, she takes care of placements also, admissions also. Open बातें discussion आराम से करेंगे कभी. But इतना क्या दे रहे हैं यार 2.5 करोड़ में जो कि हमें 2 करोड़ में वर्सेस जो 25 लाख में नहीं मिल पा रहा. तुम्हें क्या लगता है?
So I first of all feel, Sumit, that you could do exceptionally well irrespective of where you went. Because if that was not true, then NSIT के बाद मेरा Stanford होना ही नहीं चाहिए था ना. मतलब it is so much dependent. As if after Stanford today, if I decide that I don't want to do anything in my life, Stanford's not coming to my home and making sure कि Mahak, is she, motivated? Is she excited to do what she's doing? And that's why you also have this spectrum of people who are college dropouts or have, gone to average colleges or running great companies.
True.
Right? So there's always a question mark of how much impact can a college have on you, because it is in every way a artificially stimulated environment.
True.
Where everybody is cheering you, everybody is saying ki go get it, and pushing you every day. But how much are you able to carry forward is what matters. As I have the alumni network, I can choose not to email anybody, right? Nobody is reaching out to me unless they need something, which means that how much do I make out of the experience, irrespective of whether it's in US or in India, that is really up to you.
Got it. पर 2 साल में वो DNA तो चेंज कर ही देते हैं ना?
I would again say that a lot of friends, some classes, they would be like, यार बिल्कुल मन नहीं है मेरा सुनने का. It is a choice, right? Now the professor, I am feeling, oh my God, he's taught me something which I feel that I've learned so much from. How much you want to get transformed is also on your ability to soak.
Correct.
You can still have had transform. You would transform any which ways, but you will transform here also. But
like, वो बताओ यार, US effect बताओ. Like, I used to work in GE,
sure,
the American company. You would have done some case study on Jack Welch, I'm sure. So मेरे लिए तो GE में काम करना transformation था, because it's a चलता फिरता, one of the only surviving companies in the world. They were on the Dow Jones till I think 2019 as well. Pretty big. I learned a lot working in Boston, up north. मेरे लिए 20 से ज़्यादा learning थी, because you're working and हर जगह value system घुसा रहे हैं. 100 साल पहले तो ऐसा नहीं होता. This is the GE way. This is not the GE way. This is the, ये हमारी 5 वैल्यू थे. तुम्हें 20% हाइक मिलेगा, 33% नहीं, because तुमने 5 में से 3 GE वैल्यूज दिखाई हैं. मैंने बोला what? अरे मेरी परफॉर्मेंस तो देख यार, CIO अवार्ड मिले मेरे को 5 साल. नहीं ये 2 वैल्यू तुम्हारी एक्सपर्टीज वाली और इंक्लूसिवनेस वाली में थोड़े 2 नंबर कटेंगे. What the hell? Nevertheless, so talk about that US culture. Talk about that US thing.
So again, Stanford was a very international class.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So 30-35% of the overall class was international. To me, I think that helped a lot, because then I felt that I learned about so many new cultures it helps you just build a lot of diversity, understand how do you navigate, different people, different culture. How do you sort of work together? Suddenly you're put in a class assignment where there are 4 people from 4 different countries.
Yeah.
So you have to first come on a common ground. Ki, is this how all 4 of us work even?
True.
You know, is this the time that, people work at?
Common accents as well.
Common accents are a big challenge. So that was one part of the experience which I feel that I valued a lot, because that helped me just become a more global citizen. And it made me think that, tomorrow if I know I have to start a business in any country, I would have enough people to tap to, get a sense on how do I make it successful there.
And to start with at least, कल को
Correct.
Mexico जाना, you know already Mexican.
Exactly.
Lebanon जाना तो
Correct.
एक बंदा तो है हमारा जान पहचान.
We have enough people across the world where you can just find alumni, be like, dude, I'm coming to your country, please host me. Please, help me with these things. And people would do that much.
Superb.
In terms of, again, the experience, and I'm sure, Sumit, the answer would be very different for even American schools across America. So that's why I feel the culture of Stanford I can talk about, but it's very hard to talk about any other culture.
Yeah.
So there, the culture of Stanford being so like leadership focused, what's your leadership style, very impact driven. So the motto of the school is change lives, change organizations, change the world. At least that was the motto when I was there. And that change begins with you. Yeah. So that kind of thought process is very school driven. Yeah. So, and that's what, at least when I'm working here at Masters Union, that's what we're trying to drive. We're saying it's ultimately that environment that you create for the student that matters.
The experience.
The experience that you're creating, right? Us 16 months mein, how is your faculty interacting with the student? Is she shutting down the ideas of a student in a class? Ki, yaar, ye to bilkul bekar comment hai. Or is she building that curiosity? Then why do you think this is a good question?
Got it.
So those things I think are very transferable. And that's what we're trying, that, why can't we create a Harvard Stanford in India?
Superb. Great, yeah. अभी तो दूर है आपका हार्वर्ड स्टैनफोर्ड बनना.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. How do you see about receptivity of the students in India? मुझे लगता है इंडियन बच्चा भी नालायक है, including me. So हम लोग ना लगता है कि बड़े होशियार हैं, बड़ा ये, but मैं तो खुद लेजी हो जाता हूँ. After a certain point of time in India also, when I was in SPJain Bombay, first year was like all gung-ho, भाई फाड़ देंगे, दुनिया जीत लेंगे, हम आ गए हैं types.
Right.
सारे competitions जा रहे हैं. Second year like सोए पड़े भाई, बस हो गया भाई, बस हो गया. And after you're placed and you got a PPO, you're like, खत्म हो गया मेरा MBA. How was Stanford? मतलब वहाँ पे भी people are like, throughout 2 years के second year थोड़ा chill हो जाता है.
See, I think workload wise across business schools that I've spoken to both India and abroad, there's a lot of freer time, which means that you can choose still that, do you want to do more parties? Do you want to do more research? Do you want to pick up other live projects? Like I was doing a live project in my second, it was a live internship sort of thing, where for 5-6 months I was working in the family office of this 4th time unicorn founder. He was the co-founder of Twitch TV, if you would have heard.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd worked in his family office. I was, he had turned vegan, and I was building investment thesis around veganism. So we were investing in a lot of vegan startups.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was a different experience. So people can choose what they want to spend
What was
their
one
time.
big learning from him? In
I
the
think
4
he
months,
was
that's long.
so humble again. I felt that, oh my God, like he would value my opinion. मैं लगता था तू मेरी सुन भी क्यों रहा है भाई? You have done so much.
Yeah.
The fact that he was valuing my opinion, Sumit, made me feel that the way he treated me made me feel that I should do my work with even more diligence.
Super.
And that was a leadership lesson that I took from him, that, can you make even a junior person be made to see, like, he should be feeling seen. He should be feeling valued. You can't shut down their opinions.
Nice. What is the wow factor in him? जैसे Stanford ने पूछा आपको, why should people follow you? What do you think why people follow him? 4 startup $1 billion मजाक थोड़ी है.
It's not, and he was just 35 at that time. So it was just.
याद उसको आता है उसको बस secret code है कि हर साल कैसे करना है.
No, but it just was, it blew, for me, it went down to him being extremely persistent. So people I had not worked, he was a hardcore engineer, like very good at coding and all. He's right now, he's built a startup, which is the self-driving cars in US. You'll see his cars are roaming around in the SF area. So his team would say how he would just lock himself in a room for 4-5 days in case he really has to work on a code and has to hyper-focus.
Oh.
So having that madness of, I just want to figure this out. He did like 7 continents pe marathons.
Okay.
So I feel that discipline is non-negotiable if you're looking to succeed, and it is something you're doing every single day. It's about, do you wake up every single morning and force yourself to do what is the right thing for your own character, for your own understanding.
True.
नहीं मन करता यार रोज भागने का, मेरा भी नहीं करता, but how do you like still be like, no, this is the right thing to do, I don't want to be unhealthy because that's going to impact everything else that I want to achieve then.
True.
So I feel he was extremely disciplined, again great listener, very very humble. And then I'll give you an example. Okay, this is a very American thing that I saw. Imagine a 4-time unicorn, and he's running, and then there was this charity gala we went to. There was a queue of freebies that were being given. मुझे शर्म आ रही है यार, मैं क्यों खड़ी हूँ उसे कुछ फ्री का लेने के लिए. He and his wife stood to get that freebie. He was like, he told his wife that, oh, let's get that, they're giving something free.
What?
Yeah, यहाँ पे can you imagine any Indian, unicorn founder being okay to, and
stand in the queue to get a freebie.
And he was excited about it.
Yeah.
It's the same excitement that people talk about in terms of, these Warren Buffett cutting those coupons of McDonald's and taking कि भाई हमें 2 discounted cheese.
Right.
So to me, that was incredible.
True.
That is humility.
Superb. I think persistent is the point. Yeah.
Persistence is a huge thing. So then that comes back to the point, right? Stanford के बाद कुछ नहीं किया, तो persistence वहाँ खत्म हो गया ना. And यहाँ IIMA के बाद भी कर लिया, या Masters Union के बाद कर लिया, तो भी persistence will take you much longer.
100 करोड़ रेज किए तुमने आके फिर. मजाक नहीं होता यार 100 करोड़. उसमें स्टैनफोर्ड का कितना हाथ है?
I would
आप तो
think
स्मार्ट हो, no doubt in that.
स्मार्ट होते तो फिर कुछ कर लिया होता, 70 करोड़ वापस कर देते तो. So I don't think I'm that smart. I think I'm a work in progress, and I think everybody should be thinking of themselves as a work in progress is my biggest takeaway.
बिल्कुल.
I think there's always more to learn. There's always more to do. But I think getting into the room is what Stanford helps you with. But ultimately, again, are you doing the right pitch? Have you identified the right problem? Do you have numbers behind you? All that is still the founding team.
पर I think secret sauce to success तो पता चल जाता है ना स्टैनफोर्ड जाके. या सक्सेसफुल होने के लिए ये 6 कदम है, और अगर तुम फेल भी होते तो तुझे पता है यार तूने मेहनत नहीं की थी.
I think you see that it is possible.
Yeah.
You see people who are very average, who were sitting in those same classes.
अच्छा.
Yeah, Phil Knight, when he was talking to us in one of the View from the Top, like here we have C series, there we have View from the Top, where these really high-end, highly successful people will come and share anything very, very candidly. So there, he shared that he was a very shy kid who would just keep looking at people's shoes, lived out of a car, was selling out of a car, and I was like, yeah, ultimately, he reached where he reached because he just continued doing it. Had he stopped at any point, he would have not reached.
True.
If you reach Indra Nooyi's book, and I feel very, very inspired by her.
अच्छा.
She talks about the same, that she could have chosen कि आज यार अब बच्चे हो गए हैं, सब कुछ हो गया, I can choose to take a back seat. But if she chose to continue doing what she was doing every single day, that's what made her who she became, right? Ultimately.
बहुत ही बढ़िया.
And वो फिर daily effort लगता है उसका, सुमित. You have to do the right thing every day.
Of course. Last 2 questions.
Yes.
स्टैनफोर्ड जाए, मौका मिला, बच्चा बैठा है अभी ये 21 से लेके 24 साल तक का, 1 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट है.
Correct.
दूसरी ऑप्शन है वही बेचारा ब्लू आइड बॉय होगा तो बार्कलेज, नमूरा, जीई कैंपस प्लेसमेंट लगी होगी. ज्यादा अच्छा होगा तो गूगल चला गया होगा तो हार्डकोर कोडर होगा तो हैदराबाद जाके अभी शायद माउंटेन व्यू में बैठा होगा, वो भी होगा. आजकल तो नेटफ्लिक्स वगैरह इज आल्सो हायरिंग इंडिया. हैदराबाद ऑफिस ऑफ बैंगलोर इज वेरी गुड, ऑफ गूगल एज वेल.
Correct.
नेवरदलेस उसके लिए एडवाइस क्या है? अप्लाई करें जीमैट, एक बार जाने का सोचे.
I think you really need to ask yourself a question, Sumit, that why am I applying? Like for me, I know NSIT was not opening as many doors as IIT would. Like my IIT Delhi co-founder, if I would ask her कि यार how much delta would a Stanford MBA bring to her, especially now that she's back in India, maybe her answer could be very different from my answer. Because she already had access to those doors. She was under 500 rank IIT Delhi. तो उसको कहीं भी like people would be okay to
But would you send your own kid to Stanford given a chance?
I would. I think if he's that deserving, he or she is that deserving, and I feel it's an experience in itself. But अब उसे अगर musician बनने फिर क्यों भेजूंगी?
Of course.
मतलब
assuming
that's why I'm saying that it's very important to see what they want to achieve from those 2 years of MBA. Otherwise, it's a huge investment.
True.
I would not send my kid to a school where I feel ROI नहीं निकलेगा.
मुझे पता क्या लगता है, मैं अपना थॉट बता रहा हूँ.
Sure.
Like, so I applied to Stanford 2005. I'm old. So petroleum engineering was the thing.
Correct.
Never went. Then लोगों ने बोल दिया क्या करेगा MS करके, उसके बाद PhD करने बाद टीचर बनेगा. ये
Correct.
क्या? दो I'm a teacher now.
हाँ. Correct. Of course. See, life comes in full
Life
circle.
comes in full circle. Then SPJain habits
Yeah.
happened, amazing stuff.
Correct.
Then Harvard, I just touched down Boston like few days, few weeks.
Sure.
Spent some time there, came to India.
Huh.
Applied to Oxford, went to Oxford, came back. Applied to Stanford again, MS6 program,
Right,
1 year
right,
program.
I know.
अभी COVID के पहले.
अच्छा.
Got through, didn't go.
Sure.
मैं ऐसे time pass करता रहता हूँ.
हाँ.
But my learnings of this entire thing is like, I would tell my own son, तेरे को अगर म्यूजिशियन भी बनना है ना, MBA करके जाओ.
Sure.
म्यूजिशियन एक एक्सेल शीट पे जब काम कर रहा होगा, क्या किक आएगी उसके काम को.
Correct.
He can beat 10 other musicians who don't know that bloody
Because he
Excel
would know how to build a business. He would know how to build his empire, his brand.
sheet. Yeah. मुझे लगता है कुछ भी करना है, स्टैनफोर्ड जाओ, कहीं भी जाओ, कर लो. Any parting thoughts to all our 20-21-year-olds who are listening to us यार? ये सब बच्चे हैं अभी, इनको भी लाइफ चेंजिंग काम करने हैं यार.
Don't let your past define your future.
Superb.
Because it is not just about the journey you've come, like you've not come so far only to come so far. Keep building on top of it and do the right thing from here. Like जब जागो तब सवेरा.
बिल्कुल यार. और अगर IIT नहीं हुआ, फिर भी तुम स्टैनफोर्ड जा सकते हो. और
That's
फिर भी
the thought.
100 करोड़ रेस कर सकते हो. Thank you so much महक for your
Thank
time.
you so
Boys
much.
and girls, do it in the like button और मुझे कमेंट करके बताइए भाई आपको कैसा लगा ये वीडियो, और are you applying to any Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Wharton or any of the IIM Ahmedabad, SPJain Bombay और Master Union? अप्लाई करिए. I'll be more than happy to reply to your comments and like पक्का करके देना. Thank you so much. Thanks Mahak. Take care.
Thanks, Sumit.